Alright, what's going on, guys? Gdoggcasey here with my buddy Detiner, and we are going to be introducing the beginning of a new series that's hopefully going to go on for a little while, bringing Starcraft 2 back to the channel. And one of the things we did a long time ago was we had a series that we called Extreme Versus, where it was him versus I, him versus me, or whatever, in a whole bunch of different games. And, you know, we would try to see who was better because we've always been competitive that way. But StarCraft 2 is the game that has always stood that test of time, and it remains to be the one that we're the most competitive at. I mean, one day I could 3-0 him in a series, the next day he could 3-0 me, or we can have a series that goes all the way 5 games. Like, it's been like that for a really long time. So, anyway, I'm going to let Detiner introduce himself.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Detiner here. Like Casey said, this is another start at Extreme Versus. We had some good games. If you look back at some of the YouTube videos, we actually played some League of Legends, some hockey, some other games as well. But like Casey said, StarCraft always seems to be the one that we always come back to. Now that StarCraft's free to play, people who watch this episode may be able to download this and play along if you want. We have a best of 3 series coming up here, which is exciting, fun to watch, and hopefully it'll be good.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. We've already played the games, so we're just going to be casting the replays here. And I think that's better because, you know, if I was the only one recording, you'd always see it from my perspective, and it just doesn't really balance out. So we're going to cast the replays even though we played them. And this one's going to be a best of 3, but I think going forward, we're going to bump it up to best of 5, just to give it a little bit more meat, because some of those series might just be a quick 2-0 and just doesn't have enough meat for me. So I think a best of 5 would be good, and always playing on the ladder maps and all of that. So yeah, I think that's enough of an explanation. Let's go ahead and jump into the first game. Alright, here we are in game number 1 on Abyssal Reef. I'm going to go ahead and introduce my opponent in the bottom right corner of the map, playing Zerg. It is Detiner.
And spawning the top left as the yellow Terran, we have Gdoggcasey.
All right, so
BM at the start here.
Yeah, but it's worth noting, at the time of actually playing these games, I didn't even let you know that I was planning on starting this series. I was like, basically, let's do a best of 3, and then after the series is over, if it was a good series, we'll throw it out there for episode number 1. So he didn't actually know at the time.
Yeah, well, let's not spoil it, but I'm pretty sure it was a pretty good series.
Yeah, it was a good series.
Yeah. We have a ZVT to start. When was the last time that we casted a ZVT?
When was the last time we casted a game?
Yeah.
It's been a long time since the two of us casted together, so I think there's going to be a little bit of rust early on, especially me with observing properly, and, you know, just trying to keep an eye on everything happening on the map and remembering how to cast, but I don't think there's a better way to do it than just jumping into it, so that's what we're doing.
Exactly. Like, it's like riding a bike. We're looking at the map here. We see Gdogcasey starting a gateway because he's Terran.
A gateway, yeah.
Yeah.
This gateway right here is just about finished.
Where's his pylons? This is pylons, right?
Well, I was going to proxy one, but then I realized I was Terran, and I wanted to try to play the game properly.
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
Another thing...
It would have been a long game to build a pylon.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to bring up, too, was that not only has it been a long time since we've played the game, or since we've casted the game, but it's been probably just as long since we've played on a regular basis. So both of us are going to be really rusty early on. But I'm hoping that this series is going to push us to play better every week and show you guys better games every week because of the fact that we always get, we get the best out of each other in this game, I think. So, you know, that'll start to become evident as we get into, like, episode 3, 4, 5, and later on, you know, the games will start to get much more high quality, I think.
Yeah.
As we remember builds and stuff.
Yeah, if you ever see the loading screen, you'll see that we both have diamond borders, but it's been months and months since we've actually played somewhat seriously. Yeah. So I would say the gameplay here would probably be around low plat-ish, if I could...
Nah, higher than that. Probably low diamond-ish, I'd say. I think we're still good enough to be in diamond.
And here we have the first bit of action going on with the Reaper poking in, but as I say with any time Casey plays Terran, he is the Blue Oyster Cult. I never fear his Reapers.
Yeah, my Reapers are usually pretty terrible. Nowadays, I just send them in just to get the scout. I saw the third base, so, you know, everything seems kind of standard. I think that third is pretty early, but you say it's like normal timing. You're probably right on that one.
If you look at spawning tool, if you, I was planning here. Well, I'm not going to ruin it, but I was trying to somewhat follow a build order as best as I could, and the 20th drone is supposed to go to make the third. So a lot of people like yourself like to make 4 queens before you get the third as a little bit of a safety precaution, but I wasn't really worried.
Yeah. You also got this speed for the Overlords just started now, as well as the Baneling Nest. So Ling Bane early on, and the speed Overlords could be useful for drops, but also just for scouting. You got Overlords getting in position for some good scouting already. To be able to see what I'm going for, which was basically like my own idea of the 2 medevac drop that's very popular with Terran. So we killed every single Zergling that tried to come in to scout there.
That was the best scout ever. I got to see exactly everything die.
Yeah. So we got the factory switching over to the starport on the reactor, so we can double make medevacs here.
And nothing coming out from Detiner's side right now. Just a Baneling Nest, so making some Zerglings, knowing that Casey does go for that 2 medevac drop.
This Overlord coming in with speed, gets a full scout, sees the 2 barracks, the factory, and the starport, and then gets gunned down by the Marines that were in the bunker. But good scout. Full scout there is definitely worth losing the Overlord for, I'd say, and you kind of know what to expect now.
Yeah, it did supply block me. We had another Marine shooing away another Overlord, but the Overlord is there in position to see if anything is moving out in that direction, as I tend to notice a lot of Terran players like to take their medevacs and put them along the edges and then out. So as you noticed, I have Overlords spread out along the edges of the map.
Now, the 2 medevacs are done and being loaded up here. Obviously, my macro, or my entire build order was totally off base here. I wasn't even able to fill up the second medevac, and they're moving out along the center of the map as well, not even taking time to try to be deceiving. So actually, you kind of overthought it with the Overlords and ended up missing the drop coming right up the middle. At least for now. What do you have, though? You got a bunch of Lings, which is probably going to be enough to shoot this out. The Reaper comes in, drops a grenade, and ends up getting gunned down, I think, by the Queen. And here comes the drop.
Now, the drop literally drops on top of my macro hatchery that I started here, but the Queen seemed to be a little bit of a distraction to stop them while the Lings make their way up and clean this up pretty quickly.
Yeah, one thing I probably should have done was just dropped down here at the third and, you know, maybe done a little more harassment. This map allows you to do that kind of thing with medevacs pretty easily. But I was like, okay, that's enough. Turn around, go home. That's one thing that I'm going to hope to improve on in the future, is just controlling the drop while maintaining things at home. But while doing that, I did get the third base and 2 more barracks.
It looks like that attack, though, did do its job, because it made my macros suffer, and I went up to 1,200 minerals while I was trying to defend. It was a very different multi-pronged attack where it was just the 1 Reaper, but it did draw my attention away.
Yeah.
While the 2 medevacs came in, but as we see here, the supplies are relatively even. I have a bunch of Lings coming up. I have my 4th base and a macro hatchery coming up.
Yeah, you have a lot of Lings on the map right now, and it looks like they're starting to run across to the other side. You're leaving some at home on the 3rd base, and I'm getting ready to take the 3rd myself. Just trying to make sure everything is going here. Also got +1/+1 upgrades coming through, but you're actually far ahead. And these Lings show up at the perfect time to get the scout on that 3rd base and dodge the Widow Mines.
Yeah, we got 1 lone Ling in here coming in. It's going to do as much damage as it possibly can, which is none.
But he gets a pretty full scout there, so you can see.
We need to nerf SCVs.
Yeah, they're pretty good against 1 Ling. More Lings at home, breaking the rocks now. Your 4th base just finished, making a Queen over here, I think. Yep. And as far as the worker count goes, you are super far ahead. 65 workers to 45. I mean, it looks like I should be gearing up for a 2-base attack rather than playing a 3-base macro game, but
yeah, we have 2-2 coming in here. Baneling speed is almost done. We also have a +1 melee, or sorry, +1 range weapons, because this Hydralist then with the muscular augments for Hydras, which is the new meta, I believe, Ling Bane Hydra. I was trying to follow that build order.
Yeah, Lingbane Hydra has been really popular in the pro scene, so it's pretty easy to control too. Your Hydras usually can just do the work for you without you having to worry much, and you can just control your Banelings. But yeah, on my side, I am trying to buy some time by setting up Widow Mines in certain locations and trying to play defensive and let my third base economy start coming in. We got extra barracks coming as well, and basically just trying to max out on bio before you can do too much damage to me. But it looks like you're gearing up for that attack right now, and you got a lot of Banelings.
A ton of Banelings. I took the effort to get rid of a bunch of rocks to make the path a little bit more direct, especially for reinforcements. But I'm gearing up for a huge attack. I think I have too many Banelings, to be honest with you. I was trying to make a split attack sort of here, but I was moving all over the place because I was A-clicking behind them rather than on top of them. And here we go with the big Baneling bust.
Yeah, Banelings come in. Bio is out of position, and there's just so many Banelings here. But they did actually all explode on the supply depots and a bunch of bio that was in the front. So a lot of my Marines are actually able to survive and push you back. Probably could have taken a fight here with the medevacs, but instead we're just going to sort of call a stalemate right there for the time being. But you did blow up a bunch of supply depots and supply block me pretty hard.
And you're right in the sense that you could have really taken that fight because all I had was a couple Lings, a couple Banelings, and a bunch of really weak Hydras. But I'm glad that you backed off because it made it that I could rematch relatively quickly. If you look at the supplies, after that one attack, the supplies were relatively even, but I shot up extremely fast immediately after that.
Yeah, now would be a good time to let you guys know that Zerg is both of our main races and Terran is both of our worst races. So I'm just going to say that right now before this game's over and I don't have a chance to make any more excuses. But look at the supplies right now, 165 to 129. More Banelings morphing in. We have, what, 17 Banelings and then 17 more being made. So incredible amount of Banelings, and the defense is just not here. I'm trying to make Marines as... Whoa, Shark, get out of the way. I'm trying to make Marines as fast as possible, but they're not in the right position, and they're not really the unit to do the job here.
So here we come with the big attack coming from two sides.
Yeah. And my micro is not up to the task to deal with that, and that is going to do it for game number 1 as the Zerg swarms through and just murders every Terran unit, and that's gonna do it. So very good game. Well, I don't know, I mean, very good game for Detiner. He basically just rolled me in that one, and he's gonna take the series 1-0.
Exciting first game. We're looking forward to the second one.
Alright, we'll see you guys then. Alright, welcome to game number 2. This one's going to be on Acolyte, and let's go ahead and introduce the Zerg player once again in the top right corner. It is Detiner, currently leading 1-0.
And spawning in the bottom left for the first time in this series as a Protoss, we have the yellow player, gdoggcasey. First time we've seen Protoss. I was lucky enough to get Zerg again being my main race.
Yeah, and honestly, like I say that Terran's probably my worst. Protoss is not that far behind it. I'm really not sure on build orders and such, except for like way back when Legacy first came out. So I'm doing something that I used to do way back when Legacy first came out, dropping the pylon on the low ground, and going to be going for a Nexus first against you, who has already dropped a spawning pool.
Yes, so my mentality was the fact that I was already up 1-0. It was a best of 3. Why not just finish it in quick fashion with an early pool? No speed, no nothing, just Lings. If you watched some of the WCS this season, you saw that some early pools were used, but they were followed up with a hatchery to make it so that it wasn't completely all in, and that's kind of what I was hoping for.
Yeah, we can see the 6 Lings already on the way. I got my Nexus and Gateway started now, and going to be going into that double gas pretty soon here. And for Protoss in this position, I think it's all about the wall, to make sure that you at least have some sort of wall in place to be able to, you know, funnel the Lings into one location so you can block them in. So we'll see how that works out.
Now, it's important to note that we actually have an in-base natural, and because it's been so long since we actually played, neither of us really realized, well, I realized, but gdoggcasey didn't really realize that he had an in-base natural, which would have made this defense much easier having to only guard the ramp here.
Yeah, and that's like super important. I actually didn't even know until it was time to take a third base, so shows you how much we've been playing lately. But if I would have taken the Nexus first in my in-base right over here, I could have had this easily walled off. But here are the Lings already killing the probe and getting in and trying to surround that first pylon.
Yeah, I pulled the other Lings around to get more surface area on the pylon. I noticed that a big wave of drone or probes were pulled to block this, but I was going full ham.
Yeah. Didn't get there in time. Luckily, able to drop that pylon back, though, and try to rebuild it as soon as possible. The gateway is unpowered, so the Zealot being made needs to wait. And a lot of probes going down, but they do manage to take out all the Lings, and there was no follow-up attack. It looks like the Lings were sitting at home.
Yeah, that was a poor mistake by me. It was actually poor micro as well, because it seemed like it was almost a hold position sort of deal with the probes that made it so that I couldn't move or micro around with my attack, and made it very difficult, and I lost all the Lings. So that wasn't the plan, but you did take a hit. You were slowed a little bit with the Zealot coming out, but here comes the other Lings. We got, what, 8 more Lings coming in, but it would have been really nice to have them earlier.
Yeah, and with speed too probably would have helped a little bit, but that said, I mean, I still don't have a lot here. The Mothership Core is out, though, and that's kind of the big thing with Protoss, is that the Mothership Core and a couple pylons is enough to defend, like, almost anything. So here, we're going to drop the Photon Overcharge very early. Probably didn't need to do that, as he just runs off now, and I basically wasted it.
Yeah, so after the early attack, you notice it really didn't do much. If we look at the supplies, Casey is ahead, and he is ahead in workers as well. So that attack was what I would say a complete mess. It did not work. But I had another strategy in mind as I am moving up into lair right now. Speed is almost done.
Yeah, Lings are poking in a bit, or the Mothership Core coming out to just see if they can see the Lings. And speed finishing so the Lings can get out of the way without a worry in the world. Your lair is about halfway done, and it looks like a Roach Warren going down here is going to be your choice of tech.
Yeah, Protoss, normally I don't like going Ling Bane against them, although an inexperienced Protoss going Ling Bane against them would probably be a good idea, because they're not very good with sentries and force fields and things like that. But Roaches are that comfort pick where you know you could just make them hold down that R key and make as many as possible.
Yeah, Roaches are pretty easy to use, and they're pretty tanky, and, you know, if you don't have the correct response, then they could do a lot of damage. On my end, Twilight Council and Robo Facility coming in. Also got 2 extra gateways so that we can have a total of 3, and getting gases in my natural.
Now, if we stop for a quick second here and see that I did drop a Nidus, and I already have a Overlord in position at the in-base natural to drop a Nidus.
Yeah, so Detiner's going to be going for the Nidus attack so he can tunnel all his enemies, or all my enemies into my base here. The Overlord has vision, so he can drop the Nidus network here and tunnel his units in to try to attack me from an angle I'm not expecting.
Yeah, seeing given with the Protoss, if you look at his natural base, you can see all the defenses are fortified here. He's got the Mothership Core, he's got a bunch of Adepts, and there's Zealot holding the wall. So coming in this back route would be, as we see the Nidus just starting to pop now, a undefended position to be able to take out what it looks like a third trying to go up.
Yeah, the third base is just over half done. My army hasn't noticed yet. They're coming in now. My Mothership Core is trying to come over as well, but not in time at all. The Queens are popping out. Creep is starting to spread. And here come the Adepts to try to hold us off as best they can. The Mothership Core getting dangerously close to the Queens and going to get taken down for a worthless Photon Overcharge.
Yeah, mistakes were made by both of us. The Mothership Core got picked off really easily, but I also sent in my Zerglings to die without the help of the rest of my army, to die to all these very strong Adepts that counter the Zerglings. But look at the fight here. It looks like it's going in my favor, but Casey has a huge supply lead when it comes to workers, so he's going to be able to replenish relatively quickly.
Yeah, only 3 gateways though, so we're trying to warp in some Stalkers to do well against the Roaches. You got a bunch of Lings here trying to do damage, eventually going to break through. I have a random observer over here doing damage to the mineral line here in the natural, as well as maybe winning this fight against the Stalkers.
See, now, while I thought the 2-pronged attack would be a good idea here, you're seeing that the Stalkers are actually starting to clean up, and these Zerglings would have been really good to help actually fight the main army, but they decided to go in and take out the third, uncontested.
Yeah, I mean, killing that base is going to be all right. It's better to not leave it up, I guess. But I think maybe some extra focus on some key buildings like the Cyber Core, or just focusing them all on killing all my units might have done pretty good. It's getting dangerously close here. I mean, there's a lot of Lings in the main as well, and in the natural, just all over the place, ripping and tearing everything on my side of the map.
Yeah, I just noticed the link that I sent into the natural were actually A-moved on your base, so they were only focusing the base, and I ended up losing probably about 10 Lings there for free because they were not defending themselves against these two Zealots that just sliced away on them. But a formidable army is being prepared by you to counterattack as it is an all-in, because you are left with what seems like
12 workers.
12 workers, and they're about to get all destroyed.
Yeah, even more Lings coming in from the Nidus Worm to follow up on this attack, but my Zealots are in better position this time, and the Lings getting a little bit caught in between the pylon here. Not going to be enough. Luckily, I was able to get away with some probes here, and like you said, the army for me is getting to be pretty big. We're finally going to take care of that darned Nidus network, and we're researching charge for our Zealots. You notice that I don't have a lot of gas. I've been spending all my minerals on Zealots, and trying to survive until I can get charged, because as far as I know, this is sort of the best thing that I could do to pull back in this game.
So I have what seems like a huge advantage right here, but if you look at the army supplies and look at what we have units-wise, I have 6 Hydras, 10 Roaches, but you have 2 Immortals and 14 Zealots with that. We're going to have charges. It's going to make it so that I can't really kite your army, and Zealots are extremely tanky, super strong, and you just have more of them. So as it stands right now, I believe your army composition is a little bit better than mine, and in order for me to win this game, I'm going to have to hold on because I do have the worker lead.
Yeah, you have the worker lead, although I think one of the mistakes might have been that not enough workers were made, because now that we're 9 minutes into the game, you know, I have 11 workers, which is even worse, obviously, but on your side with only 22 workers trying to make Roach Hydra and upgrades is going to be really hard.
Yeah.
So that allows me a little bit of an advantage here to move across the map as your army's building up slower than it could be. We do have a Colossus, by the way, randomly thrown into the mix. My initial goal was to go Colossus, so I had gone with that Robo Bay and just kind of forgot that I was going that way because of the attack that came in. So I figured I would just make one and send it across the map and then attack with it.
And a big wave of drones was just made to bring me back up to 31, which is somewhat respectable at this point in time, but that could have been 10 eggs, that could have been army units. But as you see, I'm moving in towards my Nidus for another attack. At the same time, you are moving forward into my third base territory.
Yeah, this is very lucky timing for me. I had no idea that's what you were doing, and as I march into the third base, there are no units here. So the Zealots wrap around the base here, going to take that out, no contest at all. You have to pop all your units back out of the Nidus and try to defend your main now, but I'm going to be able to get up the ramp, so that's going to give me a good chance here with all these Zealots.
Yeah, and there are a ton of Zealots, and Zealots with charge are a formidable opponent to anything. Doesn't matter what you're playing up against. Zealots are just strong units, and this is not going the way that I wanted. This Colossus is just hammering down full health.
Yeah, I had some targeting issues during that fight. I mean, 2 Immortals were targeting an Evo Chamber during that whole fight. Trying to warp in with this Warp Prism that I used to follow up. Minerals are getting really low. Still only 11 workers, by the way. Have not made any drone or any probes. And this is the final fight here, I think. The Colossus is really important to keep alive. There's a bunch of Roach Hydra here, but I think I just have enough. It is so close, but the Immortals are doing a really good job. And the Colossus as well, obviously.
Yeah, so we look at your composition. You have 3 Stalkers and 1 Colossus left. And what am I making right now? I am making 14 Lings.
Yeah, I was able to squeeze out 2 Zealots. My minerals are so low right now. And here we go, trying to kill that spawning pool, but the Lings are made. Initially going to run down to defend the second base, which might be a good idea. There's 3 spine crawlers as well. I don't think I'd be able to kill the 3 spines, to be honest.
Well, the range of the Colossus, because you have Colossus range, here we go. The final attack, because I'm trying to get rid of that 1 Colossus as it is dwindling down to 12 health.
Yeah, 12 hit points. And that is going to do it. I still think that that might have been a little bit of an early GG because I don't know how much damage I was going to be able to get. BG even. I just saw that, the BG.
Well, all my tech buildings were gone. The spawning pool, everything was gone. All I had was a roach warren. I probably could have somewhat defended this this low ground natural, but again, it's the low ground natural. You have units and I don't. So.
Dude, you had 2 roaches and 6 lings in the Nidus network. I just noticed that.
Did I really?
Yeah, those would have been really helpful.
Oh my goodness.
So you can tell, like, we're both really rusty here, but that's the whole point. We're trying to get better at casting and at playing, and I think doing this is going to help. So anyway, that's game number 2. That means we are now at a 1-1 score, forcing game 3, which we will come to very shortly.
See you then.
All right, guys, here we are for game number 3 on Ascension to Ire. We'll start by introducing the red Terran player in the bottom right corner of the map. He is Detiner.
And spawning the top left for the final game of this best-of-3 series, it is tied 1-1. We have the yellow Zerg player, gdoggcasey.
So the roles are reversed in this game. I get my main race, and you get the race that you really don't enjoy playing too much these days.
Exactly. We're somewhat diamond players, but my Terran is probably low gold, mid goldish, around there. I understand the build somewhat, but I have no care to play them.
Yeah, but when we do the RVR series, it forces us to play even the races we don't get a lot of practice with, which I think is good in a way because this is you getting practice with them, and even if it's kind of slow or even if you don't get Terran a lot, you'll still end up getting better by virtue of just playing them more. Exactly.
Just getting. That's the thing about Starcraft. You definitely get better the more games that you play, regardless of winning or losing. You just get better by playing. And as we see here with my build right now, I'm trying something a little bit different with no gas and a really early second up on the high ground because every time I play Terran against gdoggcasey Zerg, he harasses with 6 lings and I never get my natural down.
Yeah. Yeah, and we might see that coming out of my side of the map here. You got a bunker going down too, very defensive.
Yeah, that just always seems to be my problem with Terran is getting that second base down with very few units against Zerg, because Zerg could come in with 6 links and I see the 6 links and I'm like, okay, GG, quit.
Well, usually that's why you get the Reaper, because the Reaper with micro can kill the 6 lings until the lings get speed anyway.
Yeah.
But we do have the pool finishing. We got 6 lings coming out, 2 queens, and Zergling speed's going to be started very soon here as well, as soon as the minerals come in for it. And like you said, the 6 lings initially are used for defense against the Reaper, but if no Reaper shows up, then you can send them across the map and do a little bit of poking and scouting with them. And that's what I'm going to be doing here.
We have the barracks, switching off and making a tech lab to get that stim coming up. We have a factory, no starport just yet, obviously, because
you need the factory to make it.
Yeah, no, I was thinking early in advance because with this game I was a little late on my starport.
Yeah,
that's a little early to be talking about that just yet. The supplies show the tail of the tape in regards to this, as these lings are coming in right now and just get shooed away by the 3 Marines in the bunker. But again, I'm at 25 supply, and gdoggcasey is at 35. My build is non-existent as it stands right now.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, things are, like I said, things are going to get better the more we play. And with me playing my main race versus your lowest race, it's not a very good time for that to happen when it comes to game 3 of this series. But the bunker was helpful because it shooed my lings away. I needed to have speed before I can run past the bunker. Speed is finished now, so the lings have their little fancy wings on, and they'll be able to run by at some point. I also have a 3rd base going down over here as well. But I'm focusing my camera over here because I know the lings are going to come in at some point. Here they are.
Yeah, and here they come in at my incredible wall, non-existent.
Yeah, they just run right by.
I unburrowed the Widow Mine thinking, okay, I won't let my Widow Mine go off because I thought there might have been banelings or something behind that. So just saved the shot from the Widow Mine, but that caused them to be able to get in and scout around.
Yeah, and I noticed that there was no starport. So, you know, I think it is going down a little bit late. It's just getting started right now. But I thought it was like some sort of build order that you were going for. Maybe some sort of weird like Hellion all in or Hellbat all in. So I got real defensive. I made a Baneling nest. I made a whole bunch of lings to defend my third base. And I even made 2 Evo chambers, which will eventually turn into 4 Evo chambers.
Yeah, the good old extra Evo chamber mistake. I've done that several times, thinking, okay, time for my upgrades. But with that scan that I just made, I actually did notice that a Baneling nest was being morphed, and that it was not a Baneling bust that I was worried about in the initial earlier engagement.
Yeah. And on your side, it looks like you're actually going for a third base as well. So we're gearing up to play a bit of a macro game here, which is good because so far our games have been mostly like focused attacks. You know, the Nidus play into a charge lot attack by me. In the first game, you just sort of wiped me out with your Hydroling Bane attack. So this game might be going a little bit differently on my end. Getting some more drones, getting the lair. There's my extra 2 Evo chambers that I made by accident, but we are getting the upgrades as well.
If only you could do 4 upgrades at once.
Yeah, that'd be pretty dope. You could do 3. I could get the ranged ones if I had plans on doing that, but I did not for this game.
And here comes the first little bit of harassment coming out of Detiner with the medevac making its way across the map to try and get a little bit of damage done. It's only filled with 5 Marines and 1 Widow Mine, so not too much damage could probably be done with that, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, I definitely have enough units out, but the thing about this map, it's similar to Game 1, where you can drop the main and then easily drop the third, and the rush distance for the ground units is actually pretty far. So it could be a little bit annoying, so we'll see how that goes here. But there is creep spread all the way up to here, so I can actually hear this, and the units are going to be getting in position pretty soon. Random 4 drones out there, but here comes the attack. Marines stimming in. Big shot by the Widow Mine, and then being picked up here. Dropping Marines on the Banelings. So indirect damage there, forcing me to use, you know, Banelings against 1 Marine is not super optimal. And then looks like you're gonna boost on out of here. Marines dropping out here, gonna be doing some damage against the Queen. Gotta move that Queen out of the way, because she's gonna lose that fight. So she does eventually run off, and the Lings come in and try to shoo off this attack for good. But once again, dropping Marines off and making me waste Banelings against them is just terrible play by me. Very good trades on your end.
Yeah, just the little things, but if you notice, I was doing all of that micro and stuff like that, and now I'm at 1400 minerals, so no macro done at home, just trying to be annoying on the other side of the map. Meanwhile, your creep spread is getting pretty good. Your the supplies are relatively even right now, but you're getting your upgrades.
Yeah, taking a weird fourth base here. Yeah, we are going for the Spire, by the way. Already finished here. And, I mean, the same kind of thing happened to me, right? Like, during that battle, I was a little bit tunnel-visioned as well and let my macro slip. Usually after the attack is when you, like, can look at the Terran's base and see, like, 4 barracks being made. But I think that was one thing that you were missing here with just 3 barracks attack is good for early on, but when you're on 3 bases, the Zerg will eventually outproduce that.
Exactly.
Nice Overlord snipe there, though. Supply blocked me.
Unintentionally, I just didn't want it to be hovering over my third base. As the supplies are actually relatively even right now, but...
yeah, you're ahead at the moment.
But I'm also down 14 workers.
Yeah, then that's going to start to really show itself here. You can see I'm just kind of struggling to even spend my money, just because my skill is not very good. I have larva here that's not being used to build anything, and I'm making more and more drones, but we got the attack pushing out here from the Terran. Gonna set up some Widow Mines on the edge of the creep. Not a lot of bio here, though, so I think things should be okay, but I actually don't have enough Banelings out right now. There's the attack. All the Banelings already taken care of. That's a lot of Marines for just Ling Muta. So we're gonna back off here and try to make some Banelings as quickly as possible, but you have a very strong position here, despite being just barely up on supply.
Yeah, I had a free base here down in the fourth that I totally could have taken, but I decided to go for the third, which I am going to get.
Yeah, but the Banelings are done now, so it's all about how do you disengage. Widow Mine's getting some pretty good hits. Bunch of banelings going down there, but no liftoff. So all the Marines are going to eventually die to the banelings, and then the mutas are going to take care of that, those medevacs, and then this SCV is just super dead.
The poor guy, he just wanted to help.
And here comes the counterattack. So this is where, you know, the macro might have helped out a little bit more if it was more on point. Mules being dropped right into the attack as the Lings are just going to chew them up instantly. More baneling hits up there. The Liberators aren't going to be enough against the mutas. They are generally pretty good, but you need a little bit more for them to be effective. And there's just so many Lings on this side of the map now. The supplies are really starting to tell the difference, as the superior income is just making it a little bit easier for me to maintain a larger army.
Yeah, it's looking pretty grim right now as we see you move over to my 4th base location. I'm scanning like crazy to see where the army is and what the composition is. I see that there's no banelings here, so I'm trying to set up some widow mines and move out.
Turrets in your natural are a pretty good idea as well, because the one thing I could be doing here is trying to harass with the mutas, but you're covered for that. I'm not even good enough to think about that, but all you need in this situation is banelings.
Yeah, 22 of them are being made right now.
Yeah, and all I'm doing is just waiting for them. They already have their speed and +2 attack just finished up right now. So here comes the devastating attack as the Lings are going to try to move out of the way for the Banes. Crash through the bunker, the bio.
Huge connection there with the widow mine, but it was too little too late, as there goes game 3 going to gdoggcasey, taking the series win 2-1.
Yep, for our first series, I think it was pretty good, though. Again, our gameplay is going to improve as we play more, and our casting is going to improve as well as we play more. I think we did all right, but definitely some rust in there, so we're going to try to get better at that. But I think this is going to be a fun series, because we get to come back to our roots, come back to Starcraft, which is that game that's just always going to be that game. You know, we're always going to come back to it, even when we're old and our wrists hurt. I think we'll still probably be playing, so really looking forward to bringing you guys some more of these series. Like I said, in the future, we're going to bump it up to a best of 5, because, you know, I just don't want a video to only have 2 games. It's pretty much the only reason. I'm fine with 3 games, but 2 is just a little too little, so, you know, I plan to 3-0 him in the next series anyway, so we'll see. So at least that way you let to see 3 games, is what I'm saying.
Thanks everyone for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Like we said, there's going to be some more coming out relatively soon. We're hoping to make this a weekly thing, so feel free to tune in and see me crush him in the next series.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we will see you next time.